He then I would guess that Onision has narcissistic PD with some borderline PD features, though it can't be said with certainty which one is the dominant disorder. Comorbidity between BPD and NPD is high, so this is not unheard of. His narcissistic abuse of young women and girls is especially nefarious. He has no clear sense of identity, and changes personas all of the time. He idealizes and then devalues/discards those who are close to him. The latter phase is nearly always accompanied by malicious smear campaigns aimed at humiliating and punishing them. He is exploitative of others to achieve personal gain, including those closest to him. He once filmed his ex-fiancée having a seizure to provide content for his channel. He did not seek medical attention on her behalf. He gratuitously bullies and belittles others, including other YouTubers such as Eugenia Cooney. He then gaslights the target by attempting to frame his belittling as being out of genuine concern, with the #HELPEUGENIACONEY reference in one of his videos. He intentionally tries to provoke negative emotional reactions from others, through belittling, name-calling and bullying, and attempts and displays a haughty and arrogant demeanor. He overreacts/is hypersensitive to criticism and responds with demeaning comments, smears, more belittling and over-the-top vitriol too. He does not respect the rights or boundaries of others, and feels entitled to get what he wants. He capitalizes on the private lives of his romantic partners as fodder for his videos, which ties in with the previous point about exploiting others for gain. One girl who dated him for 3 weeks described refusing to have sex with him as fighting an uphill battle, to which she eventually gave up and just went with it. 3. This is technically rape. Beforehand I should say, I'm not an expert by any means. I just like researching psychology and reading papers about it. But I have watched tons of both his videos and the ones interviewing his victims and classmate. What I have seen has given me ample reason to suspect a particular diagnosis. He meets perfectly the definition of a secondary distempered psychopath. A secondary psychopath is strongly driven by a desire to escape or avoid pain, but are unable to resist temptation. As their anxiety increases towards some forbidden object, so does their attraction to it. They live their lives by the lure of temptation. He actively seeks girls on the cusp of the age of consent, and probably did something sexual with someone as young as 15. There is massive risk in this sort of behavior, and he knew this considering he took a variety of measures to prevent himself from breaking the law, looking up the age of consent in various states, and choosing to meet in the state with the lowest possible. Distempered referring to how he will fly into a rage or frenzy more easily and more often than other subtypes. Their frenzy will resemble an epileptic fit. They are also usually men with incredibly strong sex drives, capable of astonishing feats of sexual energy, and seemingly obsessed by sexual urges during a large part of their waking lives. He literally had his girlfriend sleep right next to his computer setup, so he could have sex with her conveniently. In an interview I believe she said he had sex with her 8 times a day, while masturbating in between. And look at these videos. He thinks about something that makes him mad and flies into a rage, contracting his body muscles in a variety of weird way, usually while screaming or crying. Finally, there are just too many instances to count of him acting like a psychopath, or acting as if he cares for no one but himself and his desires. There is a video of him throwing candy corn at his then girlfriend, and saying this video will never be posted, so no one will know how much I abuse you. There is just so much that lines up with this diagnosis. I can't imagine it not being what he is afflicted by. I'm thinking a high-functioning narcissist. But I would need to know his childhood to get a full concrete opinion, and that's probably the only thing he's legitimately hiding from everyone, compared to some of the shit he reveals, and shit he fakes. Every little thing you do reveals something about yourself. Even if you're a pathological liar or bully, you're showing your full face. All I know for a fact is that Greg has daddy issues, because his dad walked out on him and his mom. He isn't that big a fan of his mom, and is likely taking that out on his wife. His kids, both boys, will likely need therapy in the future. If you made it this far, you owe it to yourself to subscribe.